I'm back. I am back. And we are buzzing this morning. I'm absolutely on fire. You know that feeling? You just get home, you get a little refresh and you're just like, yeah, I'm going to win all the fucking money this week. Yeah, that's me right now. That is me right now. I'm feeling it right now. And we're going to do this together. We're all taking this down. We're all chopping the 25K together this week. I promise. I got so much energy. We're feeling so good. This slate is so fun. Did a little deep dive on it last night. Can't wait to get Mark's opinions on it. Can't wait to get the Badge Bros opinions on it. Let's just dive right in. What's going on, gentlemen?
What up?
Not too much.
Just rocking my new Badge Bro merch. Nothing major. Just looking fly as hell on the stream.
Is that Louis Vuitton? Is that what is that right there? Is it Prada? What is that?
I don't know. I don't even look at the tags. I just pop them, throw it on.
I just got infinite Badge Bro shirts. Just keep popping tags over and over again.
I'm wearing a brand new Badge Bro shirt every stream. Just popping tags. I'm keeping the overs at store busy.
Yeah. Hashtag how rich.
Man. Man, let's go. Mark, how was your first week diving in head first into the BR streets? Your first week doing volume. How'd it feel?
It was good, man. I didn't quite max it because I just got so busy. Like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday are just stupid busy. I guess it's Saturday too. So like the back half of the week, it's really hard to squeak them in. I was like, don't bother me. I'm drafting right now. No, I'm just kidding. So I didn't quite max. I think I only got up to 71 drafts. Had a sweat, had to rock my boy, Justin Fields. I didn't get a ton of him because just where he was being drafted. But I think once or twice he fell to me in the fourth and it was just too easy at that point. So I had a sweat. I was like 28 points down going into the afternoon slate, and I had Devontae Adams running. So I needed a vintage like 150 and 2 game out of DA, and he ended up coming just short. So it was fun, dude. Had the sweat. Everything was awesome. But yeah, I'm excited to get back into it this week.
Let's do it. Nice. Yeah, I mean, for those who don't know, Mark's golden boy was Justin Fields and Cole Kmet at the 5-6 turn or the 6-7 turn in the preseason best ball stuff there. Yeah, in the season long. That's what you were about.
It was way past
9th, 10th round Justin Fields,
really?
And then like 12th, 13th Cole Kmet.
Yeah, that was Mark's golden child. Those are probably 2 your highest exposed, right?
Oh yeah.
Nobody cares about your best ball team, but okay.
Straight up. You down.
Yeah, I just set him up to spike that shit. I'm back, baby. I'm back. No freebies anymore.
Over the last 2 weeks, I will say this. Over the last 2 weeks, my advancement rate doubled.
I believe that. Yeah. Man, and we've seen
crazy.
His price in DFS now go up like $1,100 per week. We see him now all of a sudden quarterback 1 ADP pushing in the top 6.
And he's still too cheap.
It's wild, man. Yeah. It's wild to just see the shift on this. Like
his ADP is 3.9, and he's been going top 3 in all. I've done 4 drafts, just 4. He's gone top 3 everyone.
And just wait until people start to actually realize what's going on in Buffalo this weekend. It's not gonna change. It's gonna get worse.
I got so much flack this offseason for saying that Justin Fields has the same tools that Josh Allen had before he did his thing. It's like the dude is like a younger Josh Allen. Like if he is utilized and he takes the steps in the pocket presence, like he could start making some noise.
I like my comp better. I like my comp better. I call him Jalen Hurts light.
You got to throw that light out now. It's now Jalen Hurts is now Fields light. He's going to be better. He's going to be better than
Cooper
Hurts,
Kupp is going on injured reserve.
Dude, we got a whole bunch of injury news this morning. It's crazy.
Yeah. Here, Paul's calling us best ball straight to jail. Yeah, this is the Battle Royale, the definitive Battle Royale show, the definitive one. Goddard going to miss some time here. He's on the slate this week.
Yeah.
Tight ends getting thin in a hurry on this slate, especially with the uncertainty of Mark Andrews at the top. We might be turning into a stars and scrubs approach to tight end this week on this slate. Cooper Kupp with the surgery news there. Yeah. I don't know. Like, I'm kind of like what Chip's saying here, like feels like fade feels weak because like he's thrust up like that. I don't know. Like he's playing Atlanta. He gets, it's a very polarizing conversation to have. This is going to be fun.
Let's talk some psychology, some human psychology. 2 weeks ago, Justin Fields was being drafted in the 5th, 6th round in best ball drafts, right?
Yeah,
he
or
was priced,
yeah.
And he was priced at 5,300 on DraftKings. Mm-hmm. Last week, he was going in the 3rd, 4th, sometimes. So like in the middle of the 3rd round, right? And then he was priced $1,100 more. So he was priced at $6,500, $1,200 more on DK. This week, now he's going like 3rd, 4th overall in best ball drafts. And he's priced another $1,100 more on DraftKings. So there's that psychological aspect that comes in like, oh, fuck, I missed it. I can't play this guy at these prices. Yeah. When the reality of the situation is he is probably still underpriced for where he's going to end up at the end of the season. So legit, he's not going to put up 43.4 fantasy points every week. He's not going to rush for 150 yards and a touchdown plus every single week. But if we look back like the last month of play, look at his last 4 games, his floor is like 24 fantasy points with 45 fantasy point ceiling. So like what happened in that time frame to make like Justin Fields now as like the top overall fantasy quarterback over the last month? The Bears, you have to look at the Bears. Like what are they doing? The Bears have fundamentally altered how they are trying to harness Fields, how they're approaching offense. We talked about it before. They started the season like trying to hide the offensive line. They were running on 1st and 2nd down and then finding themselves in 3rd and long. Like now they're leaning into it. They're dialing up passes on 1st down. They're dialing up design field runs on 1st down. And he still brings like his first 6 weeks of the season, his rushing output was just like him escaping, was like scrambles. So now that they're like adding in these layered designed Fields rushes, you have to like, he has the like 60-yard floor still. And now he's getting all these like 7 to 8 designed rushing plays per game. That's massive. That's how he's rushing for 150 yards, 178 yards. So it's like, yeah, we have to realize that this is not the same dude who started the season, like over the first 6 weeks of the season. This dude is the highest upside quarterback in fantasy for the rest of the season. You have to just accept that. And like,
spicy.
This is where we are at. And like it is what it is. But like, so you can either like give into that like mental block, that psychological effect of like, oh man, I missed my opportunity to play this dude. Or you can like fully embrace that, like you have to treat him as like the fantasy quarterback 1 moving forward, and then adjust how you're going to handle that.
I'm gonna full fade him.
I got a spicy take right now. He's 2019 Lamar Jackson.
I mean, he's Justin Fields, bro. He's Justin he's him. He's him. He's Justin Fields. And here's the thing. If you are bearish about, rest of season Justin Fields, that's fair. That's totally fair. But here's the deal, dude. He has the Atlanta Falcons this week on a slate where Josh Allen is playing in a blizzard, and Lamar and the next competition for him is Jalen Hurts, who I think is a decent buy opportunity because he just lost on primetime, and everybody is way affected by primetime island games, and we have Lamar Jackson. It's like we just saw back-to-back 40-point games. I'm not calling a 40-point game for Justin Fields, but as far as like, people that could absolutely just like kill you if you don't have them, like he's once again in that pool. I'm just saying, man, he's playing the Falcons. Like you have you have a chance to say sorry to what you've been saying about Justin Fields and play him this week. And then put yourself in a position to win. Like I just like,
dude, so you can't. I think I've been reading the comments in the chat, and you can't be thinking about binary outputs. it's like when I say Justin Fields is the quarterback one fit for fantasy for the rest of the season, that means he has the widest or the highest top end in his range of outcomes with an associated solid floor. So like look over the last month of play of the season, the last 4 weeks, he's put up 24 plus fantasy points in every single game. And he's had those 2 spike weeks in, 43 and then 44 and a half, whatever fantasy points. So like his range of outcomes is shifted to the right on the bell curve of potential quarterback scoring more so than any other quarterback for the rest of the year. That means like he is the fantasy quarterback one for the rest of the year. I don't know if he's going to score the most fantasy points for the rest of the season. All I'm saying is his range of outcomes is greater and potentially tighter, shifted towards the right of like mean projection or median projection for quarterback scoring for the rest of the season.
Okay. Yeah, let's go bull case, bear case on this for a second here, because I think if you had told me, 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, even that, Justin Fields is going to be a first round pick and he's going to be going over the likes of Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, like that kind of tier, I'd been like, you're fucking crazy. Like, that's nuts. Like, what are we doing here? And then now when you paint the picture the way in which we're painting it now, it kind of makes a lot of sense, right? So for me to go bull case on this, we go what you guys just said. We go Justin Fields, the offense has changed, design runs on first down. He leads the NFL in rushing each of the last 2 weeks on his own. They're playing a bad Atlanta team, blah, 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 right? There's the bull case. The bear case is quarterback is the strongest we've seen this position in weeks on a main slate, right? When's the last time we had a main slate that had Allen Hurts and Lamar Jackson on it? And then the auxiliary pieces were Burrow, Dak, stacking Kurt with JJ, like stuff like that, right? That would be the bear case that I would throw at you guys. Does the totality of the position lower our interest in Fields?
No.
Okay.
Like,
Numi?
look at
Ez?
it's like. Go ahead.
No, yeah, Numi.
Well,
yeah.
Here's the thing.
I'm fading
like,
Fields.
Like this comment here, like you are fitting a square peg in a round hole with this comparison. Like straight up, the only thing that I'm like, we are talking about Week 11 Battle Royale. Justin Fields plays the Atlanta Falcons this week.
What has changed? Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, and Devontae Smith are banged up after last night. Lamar Jackson has lost his primary deep threat.
Bateman and potentially Andrews. Yeah.
Josh Allen is dealing with a UCL something. We don't know the severity of it, but something is fucked up with his elbow.
And so, potentially the snow as well.
Yeah. So like, this is not apples to apples. This is like, where are we at right now in the season for Week 11? It's like, you can raise question marks about every single guy up here. Joe Burrow is not a top tier quarterback without Jamar Chase. You can't make that argument. He doesn't bring enough on the ground to offset losing his splash play player. So like, you have all these things that you can say about all these quarterbacks. Yeah, dog on Justin Fields all you want. The fact of the matter is his matchup for Week 11 paired with what we have seen recently, which is a changed Chicago offense, leads me to the statement that, yeah, Justin Fields is deserving of being the top overall quarterback one on the slate. Whether or not you want to pay his new price, 3rd, 4th overall, that's a decision that you have to make individually. I'm just saying, like, for me, I will have exposure.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I lean in the same direction as you guys, that I want exposure. I'm not going to build my whole portfolio around Justin Fields this week. And I'm not saying that that's what you guys are suggesting either. But given the context of the slate and how we get more into it, I definitely want Fields in that game environment. There is slightly concern on my front if both teams pass the ball 15 times each, that clock is just going to go and go and go until we can't reach that 50 total. That would be one of my football guy takes associated with that game environment. But outside of that, I can't really poke holes in Justin Fields this week.
Yeah. Put up the last comment.
What was the last one?
Bad boy up.
Cole Kmet So is Cole Kmet tight end 1 this week? Yeah.
No.
There you go.
He's not. We can't be looking at this in a binary fashion. It's like, okay, Cole Kmet was the tight end 1 2 weeks in a row. What happened? Like, he scored 2 touchdowns each game. Those are highly variant acts. No, he's not. But Justin Fields is the quarterback 1. It's not the same. We're arguing apples to oranges here.
Right. Yeah. And just like looking at this slate as well, like Josh Allen is still really high in the quarterback ranks, which makes me like want to go into these drafts because like I am not going to take Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs at their current prices and ADP with the current weather that we have in store right now. They're calling for like 1 to 2 feet of snow from like Thursday through Sunday evening. I just think that it's a little foolish right now to be like get your bags there. Like,
can't they clear off the field on Sunday morning?
Snow has proven to not affect scoring.
This was
for me. And it's
the last time they played in snow against the Falcons, like last year, like just going off of like a n=1 sample size here, wasn't pretty. I mean, Josh Allen got there on the ground, but he only completed like 11 passes or something. So I'm going to be on the bearish side of this. And I think that the market eventually will catch up to that. So I just think right now, I don't really love taking Allen right now.
I mean, that makes sense.
120 yards and 3 picks last year.
If you think he's going to fall, I mean, that's the right way to play it. If you think the Bills are going to fall, don't take them now. That makes total sense. And then just get them at reduced prices rather than paying a higher market cost. So, I mean, it just makes sense. Like if we do get the bearish news and it continues to snow and all of a sudden it looks like it's somehow going to be snowing during the entire game and people are thrown off by that. And you see the Josh Allen ADP start coming down, in that Lamar Jackson range, even farther. He's that 4th QB. And you can start pulling off these Diggs Allen stacks fairly easy, then I would definitely wait and do that later in the week. So I totally agree with that point. Like, I don't think you're saying to full fade Allen, but you're just like, at this cost, I'm not going to have him. And with the weather, right?
Yeah. I mean, the total's 43.5 right now. So, I think that Vegas also is kind of like in lockstep with that, thinking that this game is likely to be not quite as exciting as it would be in a dome.
On Sunday morning there, when my bags were fully packed on that Allen Diggs, like just leaning the shit in all weekend, and I was drafting more of those 100 teams, and like, we had uncle who's football coach behind me, and I had brother-in-law, and they're like, aren't you concerned about the UCL? Aren't you concerned about the snow and shit like this? And I'm just keep clicking Josh Allen's name over and over again in these $100 drafts, and they're like, what are you doing, man? Like, aren't you worried? Like over and over. And my going line for like the whole morning was, Josh Allen fucks with the snow. Josh Allen fucks with the snow. I had no idea. I had no basis of knowledge. I had nothing. And I was just like, just trust me. Josh Allen fucks with the snow.
He's a Buffalo boy now.
Could have just been like, gather around, folks. Let me tell you a tale about leaning into the variance.
I mean, Josh Allen was honestly one of the sharper picks last week. I ended up with 22%. He was going in like the 5th, 6th round.
Yeah,
it's like,
you can't.
You just do it.
It was just like, exactly. Exactly.
Well,
when I saw him running and taking like hits like to the elbow, and then like when he was laying on the ground, it looked like to me he was just cussing out like himself after that pick, because then he hopped right back up and they showed it for a second. I'm like after the break, and nothing was really wrong with it, but like, I mean, he's going in there taking hits with the elbow. Like, I mean, so he looks fully healthy. Like, I mean, as healthy as you could be with a UCL injury. So.
Oh man. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I don't know. Like the ball wasn't even coming out bad out of his hand and stuff like that. I don't know. Whatever. Completely different.
He looked damn good. He looked damn good.
I thought he looked good. Yeah. I don't know. That's just my little football guy take for a second.
But I'm surprised. I mean, like, I don't know, man. I'm just surprised you guys aren't as like, aren't you worried about the weather as much as I am? Like, I'm attacking.
It's Tuesday.
right now.
It's Tuesday, and They can they can shovel snow with they can get snow off the field. I don't it's acting like we're like in 19 or 1800s and we don't know how to shovel snow.
Bro,
or like
snow games exist. Snow games still exist, man. Like
so Josh Allen runs for 150. I don't know. Like what? That's in the range of outcomes. I don't know.
Okay, let's go.
I will be up to the weather coming Thursday, Friday, and if it's still like this is going to be the most of the snow is coming on Sunday, but if it's like 1 to 2 feet through this time, it's like I live in Minnesota, dude. We weren't supposed to get snow, and it's been snowing the last 2 days. So like I don't know. I'll wait till a little later in the week for the weather. That's my take.
Let's go context of the slate overview, because I think this matters definitely in terms of the Fields conversation. Is like we have a 50-point total in that game, and the only other game that's close is 47.5. And at least that game's in a dome. But just context of the slate right now, overarching that it makes a lot of sense that it's going that way because Vegas has that game projected 3 points higher than anywhere else, and it's supposed to be a close game kind of thing. Anything else jumping out to you guys, like game environment wise, overarching? We've talked about the snow in the Buffalo one getting us a little skittish there. Is there anything else that we're looking to on this slate where it's like, I'm going to make bull case for that game?
I've been gravitating a lot towards the Cowboys and Vikings. That to me seems like the most like cozy spot as far as like drafting players because of how gross the slate is, and two, where a lot of these guys are priced at right now. This to me feels like it. Like I'm hoping that we get a really good game here. It seems like we should. Cowboys being favored is like interesting to me. It seems like.
How are the Cowboys favored with the Vikings?
I'm surprised you have issues with that, Numi. I can't believe you would.
I mean, I guess the underdog narrative, but I just don't understand how the Cowboys, after losing to the Packers, and we just went into Buffalo. I just don't understand lines after looking at this.
So to me,
maybe Mark can tell me and just school me down and say like, all right, sit down, son. This is how it works. But like, I just don't understand coming into US Bank how you a favorite. Like, I don't know.
Starts with the defense. Obviously, we know that Dallas is able to generate organic pressure without having to blitz. And Kirk Cousins has been #bad against pressure. So there's that. He's a guy who will hold on to the ball. He's a guy who will make split-second decisions when pressured, and that's led to 3 total picks under pressure this season.
You mean throwing it right to a Bills guy?
Yeah. Yeah. So,
like he thought he was a Viking at first, and was like, "Oh, shit."
His Kirk Cousins completion rate or completion percentage when pressured this season. You ready for this? 42.9%. Eesh. So yeah, it starts with Dallas's defense, and that's kind of the reason why I'm a little bit under, or I guess I don't have as much interest in this game environment. I still like pieces from this game, like Justin Jefferson against Trayvon Diggs. Like that's a matchup that like Trayvon Diggs could leave with 2 picks, and Justin Jefferson could go for 200 yards because Diggs is so aggressive.
Yeah.
So like I like pieces from this game potential. Like the upside is there. I don't like the game environment necessarily as much as I think that it's going to attract attention because it's a 47.5 total. But pieces from this game are highly intriguing for sure.
One thing I want to just throw a shout to is I want to throw a little shout to Numi's boy Justin Jefferson there, where he had 9 catches last week on sub 50% expected completion percentage balls.
Insane.
Like next gen stats. Like, okay. Like that's
in the NFL.
That's insane. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, like you at this point, what else is there to say, right? Like just like 100 yards every single week and just gets open no matter what. Like it's wild.
And those like down games were the product of just scheme and then just not getting him in the right open environment, and then we just didn't target him. So like they showed him like in those games where he was plenty open. It was just Kirk was just kind of like struggling and all that and getting it to other pieces. So yeah, he could easily have way more than he does right now. So my Justin Jefferson 101 take right now in the offseason is looking pretty good.
Yeah, there you go.
Right? No, Justin Fields, dude, 101. Come on now. Dude, going back to your previous question, like what game do I think it like could provide an environment that takes off? It's actually for me, like early week. I haven't written up anything yet. I haven't done much research of anything, but the Bengals and Steelers is super, super interesting.
Okay.
It kind of plays into like how pass heavy each of these offenses has been over the past 6 weeks of play. We can expect each of these teams to kind of be chucking the ball. Also, like the Pittsburgh secondary was missing 3 starters. Like 3 of their 5 normal starters were out last week. And we probably should expect them to be battling some injuries in the secondary. So like, yeah, TJ Watt is back. And that's kind of all I saw leading up to this past weekend was like, TJ Watt's back, like the Steelers defense. And it's like, well, he can't really play 11 positions on the field. Their secondary is kind of tits up right now. So that game environment.
Minka hurt? Is Minka hurt too?
Or Minka Fitzpatrick is on the IR.
He's not on IR. He's not on IR. Okay. No, they think he might come back next week.
He was out last week though.
That's what so he had appendicitis.
Oh yeah, he had appendicitis. That's right.
Yeah, so like I don't know that like he's going to be able to play next week just based off like what a team doctor says. He was trying to play this game against the Saints, and they were like, "What? Like you have an incision in your gut, dog." Like
that dog.
No. Dude, he had surgery on Saturday. He's like,
"Don't worry, I won't get hit there."
Yeah, I'll try. Yeah, it's like what?
Yeah. Unbelievable.
That's pretty gnarly. Yeah, that's pretty gnarly.
Yo, GM Carlos. Hey, everybody who's here hanging out. Appreciate you guys being here. Do me a favor, hit that like, hit that sub, jump in that Deposit Kingdom Discord with us. Speaking of which, I love you sickos because yesterday I'm riding shotgun on the way home from the cabin there and I'm drafting all those Monday night teams and all of a sudden the Battle Royale drops and I'm like, oh yeah, click, whatever. I'm going to get another draft in here. And then I flip over to the Deposit Kingdom Discord and there's already 3 draft boards being shared in there. And now and the whole Discord was littered with draft boards. Just so sick. Thank you all for
now we
doing
have
that, sharing that.
Yeah,
we have a thread now with draft boards. It's
put
incredible.
Your draft boards in that so we don't have to clutter up the actual channel. But yeah, go in there, put your draft boards in. Chad said he's going to do the Lord's work and figure out how to get them all in a quicker sense. So he's going to do that tonight.
That's incredible, man.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, appreciate that. Appreciate Chad, Chris doing that work. Appreciate Pete hosting us, doing all this stuff for us, and appreciate y'all hanging out and doing this. That's a great fun. That's an incredible resource for all of us. Speaking of which, this is what I wanted to talk on next is I have noticed a pattern, and so has Chad in his 31 drafts, that ownership is consolidating very tightly around certain stacks because they are more obtainable than we've seen in recent weeks. We have seen Josh Allen and Diggs be somewhat like unobtainable, and that's not the case this week. We've seen on Hurts and AJ Brown slates that be unattainable. It's attainable this week. We've seen Lamar Andrews unobtainable. It's obtainable this week. So what's coming with the fact that Fields is being the QB1 here and largely unstacked unless you take Komet late is we are seeing ownership of the other quarterbacks consolidate heavily around single game stacks. What is our knee-jerk reaction to that, gentlemen?
I think it makes sense, man. This slate right now, at least for like the time being, if you're drafting now, I think like correlating makes sense because it's kind of tough to call shots, and with so many ugly games on the slate, that to get like your single one, your single players is a little tough right now, but it can be done. Like I'm not correlating like insanely heavily, but I am like correlating at least like once in my lineups, and it's just because honestly, it's just like what I feel is the best decision right now, but trying not to over correlate. I will say in terms of ADP, it's kind of hard to tell in this spreadsheet, but if you look at like your ADPs in your lobby, it's really interesting how the field is kind of tiered off all the positions, right? Like we have mad QBs at the top.
Yep.
The stud wideouts, and then like 15 running backs. It's like it looks like my old rankings. Like that's how like I used to like rank.
Saquon up there, and
and then like and then when you sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say
if you scroll down.
Yeah, scroll down.
If you scroll down, you'll see mad running backs after this. It's just like a tier, or at least like there they are.
Two things to this point that I just want to say is I think Chad has illustrated the same thing in look at this 2-2 builds in 31 drafts.
That's what I want to talk about.
80%. So all the ownership's gravitating toward these because running back does feel very safe and very strong this week comparative to weeks in the past. And I think this ADP is illustrating that. I mean, like we have quality running backs. Like we're talking about that game environment with CPAT. Look at CPAT and Miles Sanders all the way down here with 33, 35s as like 6th round picks there. I think that's very interesting. And one thing I wanted to say on the running back position is Jonathan Taylor, he's fucking back. He is back. Like we saw the Commanders chew apart that Eagles defense. Now they did it at like 3.5 or 3.7 yards per clip last night, and it was ugly and it was plotting and it was whatever, and it was on 50 carries or 49 carries or something like that. But like JT comes in with no Naheem Hines, new coach, new whatever, and he goes 96% of snaps last week. First time we've seen him healthy. First time he goes 2 team targets, and we're seeing Jonathan Taylor in this 15 ADP right here. This is fucking JT week again. Like I'm calling it right there.
Would have been so nice. Would have been so nice if you could have won me something last week with all of the JT that I had.
You were right, all over.
Right back to the well. Right back to the well. I mean, I just from smart people talking, and I just picked up, and I'm just My take was he's just gonna if he's gonna play, he's gonna be JT and healthy, and he was. Mm-hmm. So I agree. I agree exactly with you. I'm gonna be. He's been falling too, because I remember I think it was Paul put in the chat, other Paul Paladier, he put in the chat, he's like, I wasn't going to correlate, but he got a Hurts, AJ Brown, and then JT fell to like 22. And I was like, beautiful. Yeah, well done.
Yeah, I can't imagine that lasts very long. I feel like he's going to end up being like a top 10 pick soon, I would think. I mean,
and we thought that last week too, and then he just chilled in the 4th, 5th round.
I got the take. We thought that last week. We were very concerned about the coaching staff, and we expected Sam Ehlinger until the afternoon. Having Matt Ryan back matters, and I think that changes a lot for us because I think last week we were deterred by Jeff Saturday and Sam Ehlinger. Now that we got Matt Ryan back, we've seen 94% of snaps. We've seen that he's healthy. Like, it's everybody's going to steam this guy up. He's going to end with an 11 ADP, but people are going to be taking him at that 1-2 turn by the end of the week.
I can see it.
Dude, let's revisit that the roster construction data.
Yeah, let's do it.
So
what do you got for me?
This is like extreme groupthink kind of crowd psychology. And it goes into like the swings we've seen in 1, NFL scoring, and then 2, like as a product of that, running back scoring. We started the season off the first 4 weeks of the season, and NFL scoring was down. There were defensive pass interference in the end zone penalties were down, and that led to like lower across the board running back production. Mm-hmm. And what I've brought up over the past couple weeks is like, we're seeing an overcorrection to running back scoring, the variance associated with it. Like over the last 6 weeks of play, like running back scoring has been up across the league. And is that predictive? Probably not. It's like this pendulum is swinging the other way in the variant act of scoring touchdowns. Over at OWS, we were talking about the first month of the season to Inner Circle members on the Saturday podcast. I was like, look, right now, the field is not utilizing 3 running back builds. It's because running back scoring has been down across the league. Mm-hmm. We can probably gain a significant edge and some EV by like playing 3 running back builds and leveraging the uncertainty of variant act of scoring a touchdown. And so we did that over the subsequent, like the second month of the season, and like profited because of it. Now we're seeing like this groupthink mentality. We had, you guys had Hayden Winks come on and talk about how like he thought that the optimal was probably 2 running backs on rosters in best ball. The answer is like, we don't know. We have no idea from like the sample size of 1 week. All we know is like running back scoring over the last 6 weeks has been up because they've been scoring touchdowns. Like you look at like everything from like Tony Pollard 2 weeks ago, where he scored 3 touchdowns on 15 running back opportunities. Like that is not going to happen every week. Like that isn't like an extreme
Mixon
outlier.
scoring 5 touchdowns, breaking the slate on
so that
whatever it was, 23.
That's not guaranteed.
That is what people have seen. It's like you had to have these running backs in order to win. Well, it's like, we've had 5 touchdown games. We've had 3 touchdown games, numerous over the last 4 weeks. So the fact that the field is just hammering like 80%, dude, 80% are 2 running back builds.
Just 31 drafts, but yes,
that's
for sure.
insane. That's insane. So that is a knee-jerk overreaction to the very act of scoring touchdowns. And personally, I'm going to be looking moving forward. I haven't started drafts this week yet, but personally, that is a point of leverage where you can build. You can still like all these running backs that are on these 2 running back teams. It's highly likely that one of them is going to be a running back available in the 4th, 5th, 6th round.
Right.
Load up on wide receivers and then take one of those guys, still saying that like, one of these guys is going to hit because one of those guys is likely to hit. But now you are leveraged from the field from a roster construction standpoint.
Yeah, no, that's really sharp. And that we didn't like touch on that enough last week. And that was a big topic for us last week, was talking about roster construction, me bringing up like every show that like, hey, if my dad is like telling me that like 2 running backs is the move, then like maybe it's time to pivot. Because he's in these streets now, and it probably wasn't talked about enough, and still isn't. But I was mixing in some three wide receiver builds, but not with like the mindset of like I am like trying to beat the field. It was just like the way that like my teams ended up. Definitely, I think this is a good week to look to do that because wide receiver isn't sexy on paper. And I think we're likely to see these numbers like across the board. We'll see now that everybody's contributing, and we've got Chad working overtime on his sheets to see how this is going to actually pan out. But I think that we're going to see something similar this week, and that does like that's free leverage. Like that is like great information for us to know that like we're struggling to find ways to get unique in a contest where everybody has a super team. Well, like here you go. Construction is the way to do that. I don't think I'm ready to get 2 tight ends yet, but I mean
that's
the 3 wideouts is awesome leverage.
Without having to like without having to dip down the player pool, you can just immediately get different than the field. I mean, granted, again, we can just say small sample size by just doing 3 wideout. Like if you just take 3 alpha wideouts and then still get one of those nice running backs, like you're immediately getting a little different than the field and roster construction aspect. So you don't have to get as different in your players and go like full down, you know what I mean? And find the week that I'm touting KJ Osborne and all this, over and over again. So that's one thing about that.
My sweat last week was Justin Fields, Cole Kmet stack. And then it was like Jonathan Taylor as the lone running back. And then the wide receivers was like Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Devontae Adams. So it's like you can build some nasty freaking teams by straying away from these roster constructions that the field is glomming off on because of recency bias.
Yeah, I think the thing with this setup right now this week is just given the fact that you can only draft 12 running backs in a given contest, and if 2 people in the room opt not to, that we're looking at a 1v1 of like Damon Pierce in like this range. We're looking at a 1v1 for like the phone shitter bro drafter to look at the names of like Pierce, Pollard, C-Pat, and Miles Sanders versus the names of like Tyler Boyd, Amari Cooper, 0 last week or damn near 0 last week. He had 4.7, whatever. But like, I think from a mindset standpoint, I think the recreational player is going to click like, oh yeah, Damon Pierce, that's that hot rookie. That's the rookie who's been getting all those touches. He's been playing well. over George Pickens, Garrett Wilson. And I think that's what's leading to the build. Not necessarily, I mean, both play a role here, but I think that's leading to the two running back construction is name recognition, clicking one versus the other. Because even for me personally, like I think I'm more inclined to click Damon Pierce's name than an unstacked, uncorrelated Garrett Wilson this week, right? Not to say, we're not pitting one versus one, or we're not pitting the spot necessarily, but just like in a vacuum, I think that's what's happening. Although I do love this name this week right down here, but we'll talk about that a bit later.
I mean, Paul kind of like goes into what you were saying is what you're talking about, what you're seeing, who's going to choose the 1v1 versus the wide receivers of that. He's saying, I don't know if I'm crazy, but the wide receivers don't feel comfy outside of the top 5. So like we all see that and notice that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then we recognize that. And it's like when you're stuck with the 30-second clock and all of a sudden it's ticking down, it starts vibrating. You're like, well, do I go and take, all of a sudden you're down there. Yeah. What you just named, or the running backs who you've heard and they've been doing good. So
when you get down to here, when you get down to this range, it's primarily a discussion of one-offs outside of like your deep stacks. So when you get down here, you have to think about like the range of outcomes and the profile of a one-off. What makes a one-off elite? It's like concentration on the offense, that he can quote unquote get there without the game environment erupting. And it's like, can this offense score 3 touchdowns? That's really, like, if you boil everything down into like what makes a viable one-off, you need the opportunity to score multiple touchdowns and you need the offense to be concentrated. So like, look at like, bad example because he's primarily going to be used in stacks, but like a guy like Tyler Boyd. A better example is probably Garrett Wilson that you talked about earlier. Like, is he a massive piece of like portion of that offense? Yes. Can that offense score 2-3 touchdowns against the Patriots? That's where it's like gray area, but like
that's where
it's willing to like, I'm willing to put my eggs in the basket of like efficiency and concentration and allow the touchdown variance to take over on these one-offs, as opposed to like we'll call it like the feigned certainty, or like it's uncertain certainty. It's like the perception of certainty that you get with a guy like Dameon Pierce. It's like, okay, yes, he is going to see the majority of the usage in that backfield. However, is his team going to score 3 touchdowns? It's like almost certainly no. It's almost not going to happen. Like, yes, it could happen, but it's like almost not going to happen. So like, even I fell into this trap last week. I was like, Dameon Pierce is like probably the drop off in running backs. And we talked about that on the show last week. It probably wasn't. It was like, it skipped Dameon Pierce and it went to Jonathan Taylor. Like the tier of like viable guys who can put the slate out of reach at running back. Just because like,
and I think just in general, like talking about searching for touchdowns matters a lot. We've kind of understated it off the hop, and now we've really been harping on it the last couple weeks here, is we are searching for touchdowns in a half PPR format where you have to get 6 roster spots optimal, and searching for touchdowns in good game environments on concentrated offenses is how that's done. I don't think it's necessarily position specific, but Blake bringing up a point here that Lex sent me the PDF for some of the stuff that he's done at OneWeekSeason, where he went back to last year and did, maybe not revisionist history. I haven't read it yet. Admittedly, sorry, Lex. I know you sent it to me. I told you I'd read it at the cabin. I will read it today or tomorrow. And go through it all. But just something to talk about here, that dating back to last year, something like 75% of the top 5 teams were 2 running back builds given the scoring format. Now, I don't know how much we can read into a year or a year and a half sample. I'd really like to go back and deep dive FanDuel and see what optimal roster constructions in half PPR, because the scoring format most mirrors FanDuel basically. I don't know. Do you know any of that data, Mark? Like,
I
just
don't.
in terms of,
I mean, the rule of thumb on FanDuel is play running back at flex.
Right. Yeah. And that's kind of where I think we're getting this ideology from right now, whether it's right or wrong. So I'm going to go back. I want to do a little bit of a deep dive on this and then whatever. Here, Blake found it in the Discord. Lex said 73% of top 5 teams since the beginning of last season have been 2 running back teams. So I don't know.
If we can say with absolute certainty, like let's use that data. Let's say over a large sample size, like we can confidently, like we can say and feel good about that number. 73% of the winners have been 2 running back teams. Well, if we can say with another level of certainty on this slate that the field is like 80% going 2 running back builds, you can then say, well, that's, that's overweight. They are overweight that build if we were going to correlate it to the winning percentage. So I think that does still provide, you call the edge what you want, like call it suboptimal, whatever. It's still a bit of an edge to mix in some of these 3 wideout builds.
I think also going back to like the off-season discussion, the big like ticket item over the past 2 years for best ball was roster construction. What is optimal? Optimal is 2-6-7-3. Okay. Yeah. Optimal is a mix between 2-6-7-3 and 2-5-8-3. Okay. That leaves out so much context. We have no idea, like that data, assuming from last year, it basically is operating under the assumption that you had 3 viable running backs out of the 5 that you selected, right? Or the 6 that you selected come end of season. That takes into account injury variance. That takes into account changing dynamics of an NFL team across an entire year. So there's so much behind the scenes nuance and context that is missed by just arguing over what the numbers say is optimal. Like, yes, even though we have the data that says 73% whatever of the top 5 over the last year and a half have been 2 running back builds. We're missing so much context that it's silly to argue over or it's silly to look at a data set that involves we'll say 24 data points.
Right.
We have 18 from last season and we have 8. Okay. So 26 data points.
26. Yeah.
Why are we arguing over what is an optimal roster construction with a data set that contains 26 data points?
Right. That's fair.
It's frivolous. It's ridiculous. We shouldn't, all we know is what we have seen, the constraints of the contest that we're entering. We have the data on what the field is doing, harnessing the knowns, the common knowledge of everybody is operating under the same governing contest rules.
Mm-hmm.
How you interpret that data and how you theoretically analyze that data and move forward with whatever game plan or whatever draft strategy that you have, where everybody is going to have their own hand in the pot. And nobody can claim or feign that their way is right or better than any other right now, because the data set is the sample size is so small, and we just don't know. We just don't know. And for anybody saying you have to draft this way, dating back all the way to this offseason in season-long best ball and then in weekly best ball, is blowing smoke up your ass. There's no other way to put it. There's no, we don't know. So take in what the contest, constraints of the contest, take in what the field is doing and add that to your decision-making matrix.
Yeah.
That's the simplest way to put it.
Yeah. For me, that's what, just thinking about it last week was I think I've told it to Nez, if everyone's doing 2 RB, it's if you had every draft and you could put this in there and you could see exactly if it was actually 80 to 16 and we had every single draft, you immediately know you can just build the 1-1-3-1 and get your 3 wideouts, and just having running back as a collective just kind of fail, not have them get there, you're basically getting an easier path to first if those fail, because if you're on the 16 side, you're not fighting with the other running backs. That's what it comes down to me. You're just, what's going to be your easiest path to get to first with least resistance. And right now, again, it's been 31 drafts, but it's showing that you can just immediately gain a little edge, like Nez said, by just going with the 3 wide receivers. And then if the running back position fails, you only need 1. if it's the Jonathan Taylor from last week where the highest running back put up 23 and it wasn't even that big of you don't need two. Like the winner had it. I know that wasn't like probably optimal of the top 100. Like it was mostly two running backs, but yeah, like for me, it's just that is an easier path to get to first by just kind of flipping the roster construction build.
Yep. It's the showdown principle where you invite slight negative leverage to get unique to give yourself a clearer path to first, right? It's playing the opposing quarterback against the defense because, we have the same roster as everybody else, but then all of a sudden, because we invited slight negative leverage by putting that in there, there we go. We're one of 20,000 that have that build because we invited that, right?
It's the discussion of what you win when you're right.
Exactly. Yes.
And it depends on the payout structure of the contest that you're playing. In a game like cash games, you adopt more of a risk dominance profile. And this is like game theoretic methodologies. You adopt a risk dominance profile because you want to be as certain or have as little variance on a roster as possible. On a game where it's so top heavy payouts, so GPPs and DFS and the BR where it's like almost it's first or bust, right? You're looking for the takedown. You have to adopt a payoff dominance decision-making process. And that is what we're talking about is like, what do you win when you get it right? Well, I want to be, if I get it right, as far as roster construction goes, I know I'm fighting against less rosters that are built like that. So the same thing goes into account for best ball for season long. I was drafting and harping on the 3-4 running back builds for a lot of the off season. It's just like, this is something that I can do to leverage the variance that's associated with injuries in the NFL. If I get the goal at the end of the season is to have 3 healthy running backs that are starting running backs. That is the goal when you're drafting a best ball season long team. So like, what if the 3 that I draft stay healthy? What if 3 of the 4 that I draft stay healthy? It's accepting increased variance in places where the field is not, with the end goal of basing my decisions off of payoff dominance, which is what do I win when I'm right?
Exactly. Yeah, I like that a lot. And one thing that we talked a lot about in the off season there on the 1 week season stuff was me playing the baseball contest opened a new like avenue into this because like we have a year's worth of battle royale sample. That's 18 days in baseball. You know what I mean? A year's worth of data. It's 18 slates. It's not that much, right? Like, whereas like, we can gain so much more knowledge by playing these contests in baseball, hockey, or NFL and seeing how the variance plays out night after night after night, and then porting that knowledge to NFL, right? Anyways, it's just a lesson in sample size because everyone likes to quote, hey, we have a year or we have 2 years of best ball. We have 3 years of best ball. It's like, no, we got like 30 days worth of games, right? Like that's all we have. Interesting. You touched on the payout. We lost 5K entries this week, which means we lost 25K in guaranteed prize pool. So pour one out, sad tier. Let's fill this shit so that comes back. But we've seen a stark change in payout structure both last week and then this week. We went down from 50 to 35. Now we're down to 25 for first overall, but then second is now damn near half of first. And I'm looking down here in this 50 range because it is a feat. It is a feat to finish in the top.
Scroll down a little bit.
Oh, sorry. It is a feat to fuck me. Here we go.
It is a feat. That is a feat.
That's a feat. Oh, well then, clip that. All right. Timestamp it.
It is a feat to finish in the top 50 of these contests, to finish in the top 1% of these contests. And before you were getting 10x your $5 buy-in. And if you were putting in 150 lineups, like that probably means you were still not breaking even in doing so. And the fact that they flattened this out a little bit, where if you get a couple 1% lineups that you actually break even or maybe turn a slight profit on the week, is going to play dividends to keeping this player pool alive in the future. Yes, when we win, do we want to win 50K instead of 25K? Yes. What are the chances that any of us win this season in general? Unless your name is I Was Inverted, it's pretty fucking slim, right? So So what we want to do is keep this moving, keep these bankrolls alive, keep this, and flattening the payout structure like this is a very good way to do so, in my opinion. I think this speaks largely to the sustainability of the contest going forward. I think it's a very sharp move by Underdog. It's going to be trial and error. It's trial by fire as we go with these things. But what I'm seeing here, I really like. What do you guys think?
I'm a big fan. I think this is, it is like, I guess at the surface, it might be a little disappointing for some people to see like first place get cut in half from where we were early in the season. But I think the flatter payouts is a very solid step forward. It hasn't yet turned into me breaking even just yet, but it definitely gives me a better chance to break even. And because half the fun in this, man, is just like drafting teams. Like, yeah, winning money is a ton of fun, but like I genuinely just like have a joy to draft, and it helps.
We all need that dopamine hit.
It helps to have a bank. Yeah. It helps to have a bankroll to continue to draft. So this is this is a step in that direction. Yeah. So kudos to Rudman and Dagus Max. I know he's involved in this as well. The homie. So shout out to all the fine people over there.
Yeah. One thing about bankroll too. Shout out Bop, who takes 2K down, and all of a sudden he's like, let's go.
Now he's a DeVoms guy.
Yeah, let's go straight for the hundreds. Yeah, but again, shout out Bop for the 2K win last night in the
good shout
streets.
Yeah, here coming from a former champ here, he's saying no one's complaining about taking down 25K. And my point has always been that we don't think about these structures in terms of dollar values. Think about them in terms of buy-ins, okay? And if we think about a $5 buy-in for a contest, you still win 5,000 entries for coming first place. 5,000 entries.
Is that good?
You can enter for the next year and a half by winning one contest, right? So like these prize pools didn't have to be 50K up top. Like we didn't need, that many buy-ins to come our way to when you win these, right? Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, with the new structure too, you have to think about and with DFS, you either bink a GPP or you bink the Battle Royale or you lose half your money. That's pretty much it in a week. Yep. So now with the new structure, you either win or you lose 40% of your money. So the sustainability is better for the ecosystem.
Exactly. And this is what happened when poker started swear jar. Yeah. Okay. When poker started introducing
Here goes half the viewers.
re-entry tournaments, right? Where they started as freeze outs, which were single bullet tournaments, right? But then all of a sudden they started introducing re-entry tournaments, right? Because they're like, hey, maybe the same players, if they bust out, want to keep playing, which is effectively us in these contests, right? Like we want multiple bullets. We think volume is king in a lot of regards. Paul's touched on how volume was king for him last week in getting that CD Lamb bullet, right? But in doing so, when you have multiple entries, you have to afford people the opportunity to retrieve some of those multiple bullets. And I think that's what this does for the ecosystem. Anyways, just wanted to touch on payout structure and stuff. Is there anything macro level you guys want to touch on? Anything else? We didn't do position by position yet. I think we can do some more of that as the week progresses here. I think we did a pretty good job of overarching. We didn't really talk about Saquon. Is Saquon everybody's 101 this week?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Anybody else?
If somebody feels otherwise, dive in, but I don't think it really requires much thought.
The problem with Saquon is he's not the Saquon that we've all grown to love over the past 2 seasons when healthy.
Okay.
He is not the running back that's going to see enough pass game usage to offset the requirement for multiple touchdowns. So if you lump him into that category of running back, who are the running backs that can see enough pass volume to offset the need for 100 yards and 2 scores? Saquon just isn't in that realm anymore in today's NFL. So it's like Austin Eckler. He's in that realm. The guys that are seeing enough pass volume, 7 to 10 targets to offset, Saquon is very regularly in the 3 to 5 target range. That's not enough pass game usage to offset the need to still score multiple touchdowns. So if you think about it in that sense, like he's probably not my 1.01, which is probably going to lead to a full fade this week. Just because you have 12 other running backs on any given slate that also need 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. So it makes sense from a theoretical aspect to fade the one guy that is going at the highest ADP, or the one guy that's going to have the most ownership in DFS, when we have access to, like, there's 12 other guys that have the same exact profile as him.
Yeah, that's a really sharp point. I like that. And then you couple the fact that Amon-Ra St. Brown is so highly, available, I guess, to the Saquon drafter. He's basically there in the second and third round every single time. And we might see ownership densely consolidate around Saquon plus Amon-Ra. So now all the Saquon teams also need Amon-Ra to get home, which then opens up the door for us to even further fade Saquon, because why do we need to get 2 pieces right when we can just pick another running back, right?
Yeah.
That would be yeah.
So who's your 101 then? Did you say?
You don't want me to say.
Oh, we want you to say.
No, it's not Fields. It's probably Justin Jefferson, to be honest.
Yeah, I think
I can just log off the stream now. I'm happy.
Stephon Diggs Stephon Diggs should not be drafted in the first round this season. He's playing like 86% of the offensive snaps. You're basically saying by taking Stephon Diggs that he's going to score 3 touchdowns. It's like, okay, I'll just fade that all day. I'd rather take shots on Gabe Davis later than Stephon Diggs in the first.
Interesting. I think this is one thing that we have to hit on before we jump into draft. Last one before we jump into draft. I think this is the pivotal talking point of the slate. We touched on it in the Discord last night a little bit. Mark Andrews just being, legs and legs above who we think the rest of the tight end, because now we take Goddard off of here.
Yeah, he's going to get an out very soon.
Yeah, and then we think Kmet is going to be owned at like a 30-something% clip with Fields, and then he's probably going to be drafted at another 70 percentile clip, I would guess. Let's hold on one second.
64%.
Kmet, 64% drafted, and only stacked 8% of the time. Oh, stacked plus run back. Oh yeah. Only stacked 8% of the time.
64% is the stack.
64% is the stack.
That's heavy. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's 64% stacked 81% of the time. So if we see that ownership is densely consolidating around these stacks of Cole Kmet, well, maybe there's leverage in running him naked, or there's probably more leverage in just full fading the dude. Right. So now all of a sudden we're cutting tiers right off the top of our top ADP guys here. Like I like Freiermuth this week quite a bit. I like kind of this tier, but like, what else is there after this? And the thing that I love about taking Andrews early is, yes, his ADP is 9. If he was fully healthy, he might have an ADP of 1. So we're getting that discount right off the hop. We can pair him with Lamar. And the thing is, nobody is drafting Isaiah Likely by himself right now, because there's too much risk in doing so. Because if Andrews plays...
You have a question to me?
No, I'm drafting Isaiah Likely.
I'm just kidding.
I'm just straight drafting Isaiah Likely.
Sure. Okay. I don't
take
away
from the Andrews swap, and I think he's going to be on the field just as much
regardless.
Regardless. So I think that's that's the thing. He has to be. So I think that's something that's really interesting, is this whole, like, I think Kelsey is the biggest question mark, but like Likely sitting there all the time. And it's, I don't know that. So I've done the 4 drafts. I have 3 Likely. So,
okay. So that's interesting because Likely introduces a point of leverage in 2 regards. My point was going to be, if I take Andrews, I have the best swap on the board, who might also still be my tight end 1.
Yep.
Right. So if I take Andrews in the 9th, what the hell's the difference in getting Isaiah Likely as the swap? Well, it's probably the exact same bet. Right. So I'm totally fine with getting that. Now, if people start mixing him in builds, or in drafts where Andrews is also going, maybe my opinion will change then, and he's not my default swap.
So I might not be a good
me. For me, it is the fact that it would be like taking Foster Moreau early in the week when Waller had the Q tag. Why? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Okay.
Like you could be lighting 4 teams on fire if Andrews plays. Now, maybe it's not as extreme a 1-for-1. Maybe he's still on the field. He still gets 3 targets. He still gets 4 targets. Maybe he still meets 6th round value, right? But my point being is I'm going to lean into Andrews this week is more or less what I'm getting at. And then I'm going to fall back on likely in 70% of swaps, especially early in the week until we get more news. Like likely's only being drafted 13% of the time, according to Chad's data so far.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna wait, but I don't hate it from Newman's standpoint. I mean, I don't think it's the worst because the reason I say that is just because like likely might end up being like the second leading receiver even with Andrews back.
Yeah,
that's the thesis for sure.
That's my thesis. Is I could just say that it's like no Bateman.
It's like good or better is like potentially an outcome there.
I think he could beat out Demarcus Robinson and Deshaun Jackson and Prochet and Tylan Wallace to be a better
and Duvernay.
Even Duvernay. I was giving him a little bit more props, but even Duvernay. So I think he could slide up there to that. But again, I totally get it. Like Mark Andrews out there dominating targets from the tight end position. Like what if he's just back and healthy? Yeah, you're totally right. I could be lighting that money on fire. I guess my risk tolerance where I'm just willing to just
non-existent.
Exactly. I'm willing to light it on fire. So yeah, we're going back to the MLB single game days. So let's just light it on fire, have some fun, huh? No, but no, totally get your point. It's valid. My thought was doing it, but maybe this is you getting in my head is I was just being a bully and I'm seeing these people like taking Andrews and I'm like, haha, you don't, I mean, obviously there's nothing, you don't get a swap no more. It's like, and then if he's out, which I know it's trending, like he's trending. He wants to play. When a player says he's intending, he thinks he's going to play. It's a lot better than like up in the air. So yeah, he's most likely, and maybe that's wrong because he's going to thrust up an ADP and this is the value to take Andrews. So I hear both sides. I really do. It's just, John's bully draft got in me where it's like, no more swap, no more.
I think that matters more and more in smaller and smaller field. It doesn't necessarily matter in a 50K entry like this.
Then get out of my head, John.
All right. Yo, hey, 40 of us hanging out in here with the definitive too early draft show right now. Do us a favor, like and subscribe, my friends, and join that Deposit Kingdom Discord with us. We're having a lot of fun in there. We got some threads going on there with the draft boards, and check this one out here. Look at this little. Bring this up for those in the know. Let's see if old John Boy can work on the fly. It should be
here.
right in this thread right here.
Yeah, and then look
draft
right
boards. Look at all this beautiful knowledge. Look at all this beautiful knowledge we can have right here. All the draft boards and stuff from everybody's just sharing knowledge together and give you access to these beautiful ADP sheets. All right, enough.
Let's add one.
Crap.
Let's rip it.
Let's do it.
Rip.
Yeah, Mark's had enough of this shit. Let's draft.
Put me in, coach. This is so I haven't drafted yet this week. So this is the
Perfect.
I'm waiting for the 101 because we're on John's account. Yeah. So
I'm loving this
unbelievable. What do you know? 101.
Bitch. I am loving this Joe Mixon RB2 rank right now. I am just eating that up. I didn't get a chance to get my input while you were talking about that game, Mark. But I mean, I don't really need to say too much. You guys know how I'm feeling about this game. I think it's gonna be all Pittsburgh D, baby. Like I don't think that I don't think the Bengals D has looked good without Jamar Chase, and now especially if the Steelers get Minka back along with having Watt in there. I mean, geez Louise, dude. Good at Pittsburgh.
Are we on the bandwagon? Steelers Super Bowl? Is that what we're saying?
Here we go. Steelers.
Hey, how about that Philly loss last night? Ooh, the 1 seed. We just need another loss, and the 1 seed's up for grabs.
What a weird game though. Like the face mask, the Quez Watkins fumble, the roughing the passer call.
Blowing a call. Wow.
All right. Shocker. I know I don't have to ask Numi. I know I don't have to ask Mark. Where are your thoughts at, Nez?
He's my 102. So let's grab him.
Let's do it. All right.
Yeah,
sure.
I do think that what the pressure that Dallas gets, I do think is real. So like I am like that is in the back of my mind with that Jefferson like pick. But I mean, at the end of the day, he's Justin goddamn Jefferson on a slate like this. Like it's he has to be a top 2 pick. However, like I do think that like I've been fearful of this Dallas defense for a while, and I am surprised that like that Rodgers did what he did. But I think that there is a chance that this game could be a bit of a slog, and it's like a 40-point total.
Bro, it was Watson
jumping in there. Mathology
boy
jumping
Watson.
in there with the Andrews.
Love the Watson stuff. And for whatever it's worth, Packers released Amari Rodgers and Kylan Hill today. So
they released Amari Rodgers?
Yeah.
Oh God, that's so funny. Oh, I'm sorry, that's funny. Pouring out for the Packers fans. Oh wait.
What capital was he?
Me.
Oh. What was he, like a first or second round pick?
One of the worst. Dude, we initiated whatever.
He was a fifth-year senior coming out of Clemson.
We initiated a decade-long rebuild when freaking we hired what's his fuck? God damn it! Whatever.
LaFleur, the best coach in the
our fucking GM.
The GM, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought everybody was the GM in Green Bay, or maybe everybody's the owner. Dude. That's what it is.
Are you talking Brian Gutekunst?
Gutekunst.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
Fucking asshole. That dude, man. We started a decade-long rebuild in 2018 when he was hired.
Appreciate it.
So bad.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. Enjoy the decade-long atop the NFC North, man.
Now we have your boy in Fields coming for us, and whoever the Lions get as a quarterback next year.
Okay,
Chicago's 2 years away still.
I kind of like Amon-Ra here.
Yeah, that's a pretty high total.
Higgins, bro.
The T. Higgins has been a.
You like Higgins more? What about both?
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck it.
Sure. I mean, that goes right in what we were talking about, taking the 3 alphas, and now we're sitting there with our pick of the litter of a running back.
There's been one running back.
One running back is gone.
Yeah, this is an interesting room because running backs have trended to go higher than this from what I've seen, but I think this is a pretty sharp room filled with a bunch of viewers. So,
take Raw, dude.
Take Amon-Ra.
Take Raw.
Okay.
I mean, and then that's leverage. That's leverage to your Saquon 101 teams
exactly.
that easily get the. Yeah.
That was my point. Yeah, absolutely, Numi.
Yeah, it's just, I had a point. Oh, it's the T. Higgins. Okay.
I pour one out for Packers fans. They all wanted Amari Rodgers gone last year.
There was
pour one out in celebration.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, pour one out just the fact that he still was on the team. Kind of took that long to. I don't know. A guy that had that many fumbles, that had that predominant of a special teams role, was just a shocker. Anyway, so T. Higgins. Okay, this is my thought, and without backing up stats, we'll have the stat guy come in, dunk on me if it's right or wrong. Okay. Jamar Chase obviously helps him, having another dominant presence there. But without that, I have to go probably check his target share, see how much they've been targeting him. I've always been the proponent. I think maybe someone else, maybe it was Nez on here. It could have been all three. That basically they're not a 1A, 1B. It's literally like 1A, and then like a 1A. Like they're the same. Like T. Higgins could be also that guy along with Chase, just not the same profile. So it's like T. Higgins sitting there. I just think he has the ability to eat and get the same thing without Chase. Am I right or am I wrong? This is just my thought. Just like
again, it's small data sample, but T. Higgins has taken actually like a 3 fantasy point per game hit in PPR scoring without Chase. Go. But it's like 5-6 games over the last 2 years. So
okay,
or 4 or 5 games.
You guys know how I feel about this matchup already because I just talked about it. However, like Higgins represented there and does like in overall ADP like a significant tier break in wide receiver talent after him. So, like he's like. You just kind of it's kind of like the CeeDee Lamb thesis last week. Like he was sitting there 4th round quite a bit, and he was clearly the last elite wide out available in many drafts. So I'm kind of looking at it like that, just from like a talent standpoint, just getting him on this team. And I've been taking T. Higgins too. Don't get me wrong. It's just he's definitely not a target for me.
Can you click the draft board? Just 1 second. Just 1 second. I know. I just want to see. Okay, quarterback. There's 1 quarterback on. Okay, so 1 more left.
I kind of like. Oh, shit. Now we got the wide receivers back in there. I kind of like either the Burrow stack and Freiermuth and waiting on running back, or I like Dak Schultz run back. Which do you prefer?
I think maybe just go Burrow since we have Higgins.
Okay. The Dak Schultz with Jefferson is nice. I feel like.
Dak Schultz with Jefferson.
We had 2 seconds.
Yeah, we couldn't.
Nice.
He's the fastest trigger in the West. He could have got it.
We could still do Schultz or we could do Freiermuth as bring back. Or do you guys like Tony Pollard? Where are we out on Tony Pollard this week?
Zeke's coming back.
Yeah, I think Zeke's coming back too. Okay, so
I think
Schultz
you can wait on running.
Patty.
I like that. I think it made sense to go with whichever one we stacked, like whichever game we just chose to stack there.
Yeah.
I think was fine.
Yeah.
And I think that can be our single stack, and now we can just go one-off running back that's our favorite.
Yeah, I think if we had time, I think like me and Mark, I don't know about Nevs, we would have got, but like my choice would have been to stack Schultz and Dak because I just, it seems like it's just obviously. This is recency bias. We're looking at Justin Fields, and then the week before, you need the quarterback with the tight end. It just seems it's just nice to get that where it's like, if you can get that tight end to go or score, you're also getting the quarterback with it. I don't know. That's just my thought. It just seems like an easy, simple stack is just that quarterback tight end, especially when it's sitting there that late and you can just.
I take a lot of
Justin Jefferson bring back.
If I miss on my boy Fields or one of the other elite QBs. I really and I'm taking Jefferson as much as I can. Definitely really enjoy getting Dak and Schultz on there for sure.
Tilted Bob's going to do exactly what we were intending to do here and take Dak here and go double stack right there.
Fuck, that's a good team.
Yeah, that's nice. I like that. A&T going Pitts with that nice.
That's nuts. He's tight end 3 and 4.
I want to say something about stacking this week. We touched on it off the top, how the prevalency of it is going to be much higher than we thought. Wow, we still have this Pollard pick available to us if we want to run that mini with Jefferson, unless Mathology takes it from us here. But I think going one off in a different game environment makes a lot more sense. I think I'm going to be on David Montgomery again this week. I was on him a little bit last week. I think I'm going to be on him again as leverage off Fields as hey man,
especially
he scores
with
a couple
Herbert
touchdowns.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think that is for our Fields faders in the chat. If you are fading Fields, you got to get Montgomery. You have.
I like that.
You have to.
Who do you guys like here? We think Zeke's coming back, so maybe not Pollard. We could go to that game environment with CPAT. We could leverage the ownership of the Philadelphia stuff with Sanders.
Patterson or Sanders?
Pat.
Yeah.
There he is.
I thought we were going Demont the entire time. You sold me on Demont like 15 seconds ago, and then all of a sudden you were like Patterson or Sanders.
Well,
I was like,
I'm not a field
fader. I was thinking in general terms here.
Well,
I got the board saved here. I really want to touch on stacks. I really want to touch on this before we fire another.
I got to bounce, dudes. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries, dude.
Go. No worries, man.
Anytime, man.
Thanks for hopping on.
Appreciate it, man.
See you, dudes.
Appreciate you, Mark. I really want to touch on stacks right here. Friends and family draft here. We see the Andrews stack go right here. We see the Fields Komet would have been available. Oh, it wasn't available. Never mind. Ben took Komet. We see this Schultz, Dak here. We see this Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen here. We see this Burrow, Higgins here. We see the Hurts backstack with Smith here. Why I want to illustrate this is because in weeks past, these weren't as readily available to see quality quarterbacks stacked every single time. You basically had to make a concerted effort or you had to make a decision, right? And Chad's data so far, 31 drafts, we've seen Josh Allen Diggs 29% of the time. We've seen Lamar Andrews 32% of the time. We've seen Hurts and A.J. Brown 35% of the time. Burrow and Higgins 29% of the time. Dak and CD 38% of the time. Fields and Komet 51% of the time. Okay? When ownership gets so densely consolidated around stacks, it makes me want to run guys naked for leverage. that is where my mind instantly goes hearing those numbers. Does it sound similar to you guys?
I agree. I hear you. I hear you out. I don't want to just purposely just go get a naked quarterback, like just for the sake of the stat. I think we can, and maybe that's wrong. Like this is my thought. I think we can find ways with construction and just maybe leverage in the draft board within players that we're doing. Hence Demont, the Fields. Hence, I'm on our St. Brown on the Justin Jefferson 101 team. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm overlooking that. And it's just, I always think that just a skinny stack, like I'm like without the doubles, it seems like it's tough to get there, but I'm a proponent of at least just getting a skinny stack. And if you're going to do it, maybe use Chad's data, figure out how much in his drafts personally they're going, try and maybe like think that out. Just be cognizant if you do get a very common skinny stack, maybe you don't bring it back because everyone will want to bring it back. Maybe you find that piece of leverage or you find that. But that's just me. I'm curious your thoughts, Nez.
Yeah. So for me, it's like the top 4 quarterbacks, Fields, Allen, Hurts, Lamar, you can run all of those naked. You absolutely can. Like this
those,
week, like
those archetypes, right?
With my weather thesis on Allen, okay, he's rushing for scores.
Yeah.
Lamar, obviously, like he's rushing for scores. And for me, it's like I don't think Josh Allen has like 30-point ceiling this week. I think Jalen Hurts does, and that's with like on the ground. And I think Justin Fields does. But if Justin Fields doesn't get there, then we're looking at like, okay, now this is the week where QB scoring is actually flat and you have more than one out to getting in the first place, because it's not just like no Fields, no money this week. There's a very strong possibility that we are looking at multiple 25-point quarterbacks and them getting there on the ground. And Dak Prescott can also get there on the ground as well. I wouldn't like strongly advise that because he's a free stack with CD, but I guess your thought process could be either A, take CD, no Dak, or B, no Dak, no CD, and then take Dak, because I bet CD is going to be paired with Dak a lot. Or, especially vice versa. Dak will almost always be with CD because Dak is like damn near free in these.
Yeah, right. I think you can use that too. And like, it's gross because I'll have to go into that. I'll have to go look at his stats, but like immediately you just think of like a Michael Gallup. That's gross immediately. You just think of other things with that. Like obviously it's easier with better.
But like, it's not impossible at all.
Yeah, I don't know his like snap count. I don't know his target. Like if it's CD dominated, I know Dak. I think we talked about Dak was the one to spread it out. So things like that, the common. But yeah, I don't know. Because you see that and it's super easy. Totally agree with you. I mean, just looking at last night and doing the 4. I mean, you can get any stack basically, even with that. Andrews, if you pick him in a certain spot and Lamar falls, then other than that, you can get a Duvernay likely, whatever you want in there. So yeah,
Well, that at least then you're getting different. That's my point. So maybe how we get different is like what Bones is suggesting here is get different elsewhere. So maybe the way you get different off of Lamar is actually with Duvernay instead of Andrews this week, or maybe like because it's coming in. And this is where my school of thought goes is like what Alan brings up is we're trying to hit a 6-leg parlay, right?
100%. 100%.
So I'm going, okay, if 30% of the field all of a sudden has these stacks intact, well, how do I get different from that? It's the same mindset as the 2 running back builds. How do I get different from that? Well, I stack with somebody else, or I run it naked. Or in this team, like look at our team, for instance, here. If Burrow and Higgins is 29%, but Kirk Cousins and JJ is 6.4%. And their Cousins is only getting drafted 13% of the time. Is our team sexier on paper with Joe Burrows and Higgins? Absolutely. Does it have a higher mean projection? Absolutely. Is our team more likely to win with Kirk Cousins? Probably.
Yeah, well, it's basically without take out TA, it's just basically how much different is it with Joe Burrow and Kirk Cousins? Like, and it's not that drastic. And then you get but so you take that. It's just DFS. We're porting it over. You take the projection versus their ownership discount plus the stack, drastic. Boom. It's boom, easy decision. Like this is the stuff that we're slowly starting to like when we get the data, albeit again, small sample, when we get this and we learn, but like after 31 drafts, you can assume most draft boards are going similar to this way. Most people are trying to seek out stacks. So you can kind of assume it's going to be a little higher than that, you know what I mean? Obviously, or around that percentage of overall drafts. So yeah, for me, it's with the right archetype of quarterback. So like a Hurts. And I think we talked on like Hurts isn't running as much. Maybe that was someone, I think Nez talked on that last night, but like with a Hurts, a Jackson, a Fields, an Allen, like those ones I'm more I think I'll get naked basically. The other ones I'd like to bring someone back. Like, and you talk about Dak can run too, but yeah, it's a really interesting like strategy point. It's like one of the biggest, basically, along with like the 2-2-1-3. It's like we don't have it all comes back to like the data points. We've had 26 weeks. We have a small set, so it's like we don't know the full picture. This is all something, but it's something to get in your head and think about as you're drafting for sure. And it's going to help you make quicker decisions just to be like, okay, if I just make this one little pivot, it's not that big of an ownership or projection change. Like we're just dropping down, drafting someone else instead of Burrow, and then we get Cousins. That's a drastic change to our overall lineup.
Yo, Chip bringing up Jack Stoll. I actually don't think this is like that galaxy brain or like that crazy. Like, I think he's a good football player, and I think tight end is so flat this week that I think it's a good way to get unique and still get exposure to a stack in that game environment. I actually kind of like that, like just in general. Like I haven't deep dove what that'll look like or like what those builds will come out as, but like I kind of like that.
Seems like a very clear next man up.
Yeah. I agree with that for sure. Here, actually, let's jump into this one right here.
Yeah, let's go.
I do want to, let's see here. Go here. Man, it's so nice to be back in the battleship. Battleship here. You know, you get your mouse, you get your keyboard back. The lights are flashing.
Single screen is tough, man. It's really tough.
That's gonna be me next week because I'm going to the gal for Thanksgiving. So if we're doing a Thanksgiving stream or anything like that, because I've already confirmed.
We'll need to talk about.
Yeah, I've already confirmed there's a Thanksgiving battle royale along with the 2 game.
Oh, of course there is.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I saw Rudman say like the first game will be included to get that 2 game, but then I had to go make sure like we are just gonna have a strict Turkey Bowl day like battle royale.
Oh,
right?
I'm gonna be so drunk drafting all day. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be so awesome.
Dude, what makes me just so excited is I have people that love fantasy and I'm going to my girl's side, so they have a really big family, all brothers. She has 3 brothers, so like they're all into it. They're gonna be like, what are you doing over here nonstop on your phone? I'll be like, I'm trying to win some money. Yeah, we're gonna win some money today, and they're gonna be asking all this, and then we have the Vikings at night. Oof, it's gonna be great. It's going to be great.
Ooh, tilted Bob taking a stand. Devontae Adams at the 101. Interesting. Don't mind it.
I'm very much a matchup bro there. I do not.
Yeah,
like that.
Patrick Surtain. The Patrick Surtain matchup there.
Yeah. And to answer your question, Alan, here, I'm probably a wine or beer guy on Thanksgiving. I'm going to my in-laws, so I can't just be like hammering hard alcohol like that. It would that would be looked down upon. So I'll be like one of the only people drinking over there. So I gotta be good. But they hooked me up though.
Okay, Mark Andrews goes here. We can get Justin Jefferson at the 5.
Damn,
and then see what comes back to us. This is a fun little start.
I cannot believe that is the start that we just had. That is
holy shit! Justin Jefferson at the 5. What are we doing?
You guys, nobody runs purer than me. Get the fuck out of here! Like as if you didn't expect. As if you like. I just wake up. Wake up expecting this. You know, I just wake up and I piss.
Piss excellence. Jesus, have your Wheaties and you're just ready to go, huh, bud?
Okay, what do we think? What do we think here? This is a very interesting decision. Do we try and take an elite quarterback here? I know you're kind of off Allen this week.
I am, but like this isn't the worst spot. I have taken Hurts over Allen. I think Hurts or Allen here for me.
Okay, yeah, I think CD.
Josh Allen, yeah.
I think
me,
CD
it's Josh
Lamb
Allen.
makes it. I think taking CD there over the elite quarterback tier makes it. It turns it into a bad team because I think JJ plus CD Allen will be available from the 102 all week.
Right.
So the fact that we got JJ at 105, we would be shooting our own leverage in the foot by taking CD Lamb there. Because then what's the difference in building it out of the 102, right?
Yeah, I guess I would probably have to see more of these lobbies. I think that anybody I think you could also make the case like game stack with Lamb and JJ and that's really nice correlation. I do think that'll also be done like a decent amount as often as it can be done. And then now we can put in our like naked QB thesis into play here because unless we want to take Gabe Davis, which like we could. I think running Josh Allen
Dawson
naked.
Knox.
Yeah, I actually. Oh gosh, I don't know. I think Dawson. I was high on Dawson Knox all preseason. I was high on him for the first couple weeks. I don't know. I would probably prefer to take Josh Allen.
Who's to say Dawson Knox doesn't get a Cole Kmet week? Where
he does that. Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, that's right, Brett boy. That's right. That is right.
So to your CD and Jefferson Chase, yeah, it'll be chalk, but we could just do what we just said last draft and go Kirk. You get Kirk instead of everyone will go Dak because he's the top there.
But then my point still holds. If we go Kirk there, why the fuck would we build that out of the 105 when we get the big drop when we could just build that out of the 102 for the rest of the week when we get Jefferson?
You get, you're just building it out of a different spot. I get it. It's just
what do we like here, guys?
So,
do we like the Gabe Davis stack? Do we like the Terry McLaurin?
I'd rather go running McLaurin.
Come on, name.
Ramondre
for Josh Jacobs.
That's fine. Denver's weak on the ground. That's decent.
Yeah, I'm kind of Ramondre. Kind of scares me this week a little bit.
There's a mini stack we could do.
I know Ramondre. That is like a tough matchup, but I think the Jets are much more like formidable in the air than on the ground, and I think we're seeing 20 touches for Ramondre this week, easy.
Okay. I think everybody's mind right now goes Gabe Davis, Amari Cooper, and Dalton Schultz, something like that to close this lineup out. Like, I think that's where everyone's bro science goes. I'm kind of cool with it. I don't know what else you guys are thinking here. I'm probably like Gabe Davis.
I think it's Davis.
Okay.
To Mark's point, if everyone is the Stephon Diggs, what he just talked about, like take your shots on Davis. I mean, yeah, that'll be a popular stack for sure. I put in the private chat a tight end if that can correlate. That kind of goes off of a stack I've been seeing quite a bit.
Seeing Gabe Davis stacked at a 39% of the time, run back at 36.
And what's
I imagine
Gabe
Davis is being run back on Nick Chubb a lot. So like people start with the Josh Allen Chubb, and then they come back with Davis. I think that would be very logical. Yeah. My favorite player on the slate right now fits very well into this build.
Yeah, we still there. Geez. We have like some game stack options here, but I'm worried about that Las Vegas game.
Interesting. Okay.
I just like the Broncos just suck so bad. It's insane how bad they are.
That's an understatement.
Like
I heard a stat yesterday that if they had scored 18 points in each of their games, they'd be 8-1.
8-1. It was. Yeah.
Holy
18
crap.
points. Like
18.
two touchdowns and almost a field goal.
But Sutton does project pretty well.
Yeah. With
that was my immediate thing.
We don't have to take him. We don't have to take him right here. We got to take tight end first, though.
Greg Dulcich.
I like Dulcich, but
everyone's doing the Sutton. Everyone's doing the Sutton Everyone's doing Sutton. I've seen it in the drafts. Everyone will want to do it. It's the easiest thing. Just do it. Mini stack with Dolchich. That's my thought immediately.
Okay. So then what do we like next here?
Again, I do
Amari
like Patterson, or we can do Tony Pollard.
Why wouldn't we do this?
Because of the home away splits.
Yeah. I mean, I like Garrett Wilson. I like Patterson.
Like, we're kind of playing into like every Josh Allen team, right? By taking Amari Cooper, by running it back.
This is going to be the week he explodes.
but we got different with the Dolchich. Oh yeah, whatever.
Yeah. So Brett bringing up Dameon Pierce. I do like the volume for Dameon Pierce, but I am actually like strongly concerned about the Commanders' defense. I do think that they're pretty damn good, and they are getting back Chase Young next week. So I think that also is really bad news for the Texans.
That's fair. I don't hate that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind that.
It's fun.
It's the problem. The problem with that comp is Mariota doesn't have the same explosive running ability, and they lean very, very heavily on their running backs to run, opposed to the design runs of their quarterback. But let's go back to that game. As you were saying, the Las Vegas and the
Broncos
Denver game.
Yeah. I mean, this is like the battle of like the incompetence, right? We have Josh McDaniels who just lost to Jeff fucking Saturday, which like I called that. I was like, when Numi and I were in the stream together, I told him, I was like, wouldn't it just be the most McDaniels thing in the world to lose to Jeff Saturday on his first start? And he did. And now they're
so bad. The Raiders are just so bad. They might be the worst team in the NFL. Like, just organizationally run, just bad.
Yeah, and I think that they're kind of like giving up a little bit. I just don't think that it just is a really tough matchup against the Broncos, who have like far and away like the best defense in the NFL. We saw what the goddamn Saints did to the Raiders. Now they have the Broncos. It is Devontae Adams, so I am like, I'm probably going to be like completely off of Devontae this week, but at the end of the day, like, you can bet on his talent, and that can be your thesis, and that's fine. And that's totally fine. This game, I just want almost like absolutely no part of outside of maybe Greg Dulcich, but Russ Wilson keeps trying to tell us that he sucks. And I'm still going to go back to the Sutton and Dulcich because they are like so highly projectable as far as like where the targets are going to go to.
Did you see Derek Carr crying basically after that game?
He's always crying. He got cried when he's
out there like,
he looks like he has eyeliner on all the time.
I'm just really pissed off. I'm really sad. It's like, yeah, because you guys suck and you don't know. It's like, come on, Derek. Like,
definitely, like, probably, in my opinion, the biggest surprise in football this year is how bad the Raiders are.
Yeah, it definitely a big. I mean, but for me, it's definitely a big surprise. But it's kind of like, it's kind of I can see it. I can see how people could come into the team and be like, yeah, they're just gonna suck. Like, just
interesting that
McDaniels is just a joke.
Yeah, I think that's a real possibility. Like, just some guys just don't translate well from coordinator to head coach, and we've seen it multiple times now with him. Interesting with Tilted Bob here, like why we don't read too much into one draft. He's been in all of our drafts so far. He's on some of those boards that are posted in the Discord. Chances are he's probably watching. He's active in these streets. But he takes Diggs now instead of Devontae Adams. So there is some merit to maybe he's just getting unique out of certain draft slots, right?
Yeah.
What do you guys think about doing this start here and getting a little different here?
I love that. I absolutely love that. Coming off a loss on primetime, people like if they win that game, then Hurts and Brown is like a tough stack. Because they lost on primetime, people are now like letting that fall. And I have a lot of faith in Nick Sirianni as a coach going against Jeff Saturday. I think that they could like blow the doors off of them. Nothing against crying, by the way. Crying's cool. But I think that this is a blow up. I think this is a blow up spot potentially for the Eagles this week, playing in a dome. Like that's a very nice environment to be throwing the ball in. And now that they don't have Dallas Goedert there, that's one less pass catcher. So
Yeah, that hasn't factored into the ADP yet, and I'm not sure it ever will. So
I don't think they'll catch up to it.
Yeah.
Really big fan of that game. Because you look at quarterbacks that have the rushing upside, but have to also unlock their true potential through the air. I mean, there it is. This
right.
is like as far as running quarterbacks go, he has the best wide receiver on like to pair with right now on this slate, outside of Josh Allen and Diggs. But there's some uncertainty there.
Interesting note from Chad that the Josh Allen and Diggs is like about 30%, but the Josh Allen, Gabe Davis, and Diggs is only 5%. So, I mean, instant way to kind of consider uniqueness is by adding a stack partner.
That's what I would probably do. That's what I would
I know what I said about correlation yesterday. I know
different
that
slate.
This is probably not the way to win the slate, but it could be the way to win the slate.
But it's a different slate.
It is a different slate. What do we like here?
Nick Chubb, I think
Nick Chubb in
like
the
hard
snow.
To say no to, right?
Yeah, Nick Chubb in the snow feels good.
Let's go ahead and make that pick, and then from here, we might be able to wait on Kyle Pitts. I really like him against the Bears.
Let's just take him and get weird then.
Fuck it.
Whatever. Take him. Fuck it.
Yeah, that's fun.
You know who the leverage run back that I want off the Pitts is?
The guy that we were talking about and then we didn't take, and now we have a chance to take him. That is gonna be probably like one of the most obvious plays in hindsight. He might not like totally like break the slate necessarily, but I think he has like 14 points. Like he's gonna project really well. If Herbert continues to trend down, that's gonna be like that. He might. I don't know that he'll get steamed, but he probably should.
Yeah,
I'm interested to see what his salary is. He'll probably be chalk in DFS just off of like a hunch, but I'm not sure what his salary is on DraftKings.
I don't know that he'll be chalk because of Fields' price. You know what I mean? Like, I think people will still go back to the Fields
which is like intriguing. I'll lose some money in a GPP this week on that. Sure.
Yeah, for sure. Let me see here. Create a lineup. It's like 90 clicks away. Oh, you know what I could have just done? Here.
Montreal. There it
is. 6,100 on DraftKings.
Okay, that's not chalk territory.
Yeah.
Let's see here. What do we have available at wideout if you want to like filter out real quick so we have an idea?
Sorry, what do you want me to do here?
Just filter wideout so we have an idea of who we're going to like, because we have to take at least one wideout here.
Same cast of characters always available back here. Michael Pittman's kind of fun as like the run back where everybody's going to try and get JT, and Michael Pittman is going to have a suppressed ADP in price, but now we get Matt Ryan back, and that's way better for Pittman, and he's back to potentially being that elite talent indoors.
If you want to play like really into recency bias, look at Paris Campbell's game log with Matt Ryan. It is like it's actually like way better than Pittman. He gets like he's averaging like double-digit targets with Matt Ryan at the helm.
Correlate
9 last week.
Oh, we're correlating, baby.
We're correlating, baby. Let's go.
I thought we just talked about how
fuck it, man.
Not to correlate. I'm lost.
Sometimes. Do you like Ramondre?
I really like Ramondre this week.
Sure. We got different enough with the Paris Campbell. We got different enough with the Paris Campbell. We got different enough with taking Kyle Pitts above ADP. Although we kind of. This is actually okay. This is a point that I tweeted out that I really want to talk about here. Is by us taking Kyle Pitts at 19 when he has a 33 ADP, and then taking Ramondre who has a 20 ADP, and then taking him at 31, we actually created no leverage. The thought process is we created leverage. We might have created a little bit of uniqueness in roster construction, but we created no leverage because all we did for one isolated draft was flip their ADPs, right? You have to take two people to make this unique and get Pitts at 19, you then have to take another player greater than 35 to actually garner uniqueness. By flipping their ADPs like that, it makes no difference.
Yeah, if that was the goal, was to and it kind of was, but I also think it's worth taking a stand on tight end because I think he represents like a ceiling that other people can't match, even though it's Mariota. He's looked terrible, but we also are talking about the Bears here, who have now become like one of the most fantasy friendly environments in football, where we can we can safely assume that Fields will be able to like push the pace. And now we have from Atlanta side, like Mariota is very involved, like on the ground, like he adds to a floor. And I think it's not inconceivable that Kyle Pitts like can't score like 2 touchdowns in this game environment. He's on a slate where tight end is so gross. Like, why not take like a Kyle Pitts like awesome matchup?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, the Pitts air yard share, baby. Let's go. Time to capitalize. Yeah, I mean, like just buying elite talent in like the highest total game on the slate is just going to be fine no matter what. You know?
Yeah. Did we know that Shaq Leonard was hurt?
Yeah.
Okay.
We did, but we didn't mention it yet. So that is a good thing to mention.
Season-ending surgery this morning.
This is interesting.
Wheels
because
up for us.
There you go. This is interesting because, again, we talk about the stacking and the prevalency of stacking. Hurts A.J. Brown. Josh Allen missed on Diggs. We take Davis here, right? Fields, Kmet in the 5th, right? Daniel Jones, Saquon, Burrow, Higgins. Lamar, potentially naked. We don't know what he did with the last pick there. I missed it. Recreational player. I'm going to assume he ran Lamar naked. But just very interesting because I do think we're going to see more and more of this. And the more stacks we see, the more ownership is condensed, right? So as much as we said, maybe correlation's the path this week. Maybe it's not. Maybe I don't have the answer, right? We don't definitively know. But it's good to know. It's good to just to have.
I think to me this tells me like Mariota.
Duvernay. There you go.
Okay, cool. So we stacked.
There you go. There you go.
I think Mariota is like definitely in play. Like that's a 50.5 point total with a 3-point spread, and Mariota is like nowhere to be seen on these draft boards.
Good point.
Huge leverage there. Montgomery not drafted. Huge leverage there off of like the Fields chalk. You hear me talk about it. You're going to hear everybody talk about Justin Fields this week. You're going to hear Montgomery's name brought up a lot as well as the week goes on. But in these BR streets, I don't think we're going to see a ton of Montgomery. So just based on what we're seeing early, that there's some very, very obvious leverage off of what the field is playing that are not bad plays, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like that. We are seeing 4 quarterbacks drafted at a 100% frequency. Burrow is damn near there too. And then Dak, this was the reason I bring this up is this is the first draft board in which I have seen Dak not get drafted. Personally seen that is not yet drafted. Daniel Jones goes there. But even when people are getting quote unquote weird at the quarterback position, we are still seeing them not stray outside of these 8 names, right?
Right.
So bringing in Mariota into play there is a very sharp point, and as it makes a lot of sense to me. You guys want to run one more? No more? Let's.
I'm down for one more if you guys are.
Numi wants to go draft hoops. Numi's sleeping with his eyes open, looking down.
I'm really in. I love this. I love these Tuesday lobbies, man. When we have some of this uncertainty, they're a lot of fun to get into. So Herbert, I don't know that Herbert is confirmed out, but it seems very pessimistic on his outlook this week.
Yeah.
Let me see what the latest is.
Yeah, that's what we're here for, Christopher. There we go. Hoping to win that badge soon. Listening to y'all. Damn straight. Let's get it
love
together.
It, man.
Let's go.
Get in the Discord if you're not there yet.
Yeah. Yeah, the Discord is equally as powerful a tool as watching. there is something great about just organically talking about all of this stuff too, because nobody's trying to pull the wool over each other's eyes. Nobody's trying to, keep some information to themselves. Like everybody's just sharing, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Preach from the rooftops, Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, there you go.
From day one, or from freaking Monday.
Same with Jeff Wilson, man. I was I didn't want to do it. Didn't want to do it, but had to let y'all in. Little free money for y'all.
Man, yeah, no, and that's just one fun. The mathology's in here again. That's just one fun thing just to touch on is like that. Paul pointed out 4 drafts of CeeDee Lamb. Like my highest exposed players being double like of anything. Like my next being 25, and then 239% in JT and JJ, and just getting slaughtered on the slate. Just getting slaughtered on it. It's just like, you just no Fields, no Komet, no cash at all.
Right.
And what have you learned?
Fade Justin Fields. I'm not taking him once. I don't even care. You can tell me.
We get a Diggs, Allen, there go. We could start with this coveted Andrews Lamar. I know we keep talking how everybody's stacking. We don't have to stack. What else do you guys like here?
Nothing else other than Hurts and AJ Brown, but I think just to try something different, I think we do Andrews and Lamar.
Yep. Sure.
Excuse me.
I have not seen.
Might as well bully tight end it with Likely, huh?
Yeah, double them in there. I have not seen a ton of DJ Moore run back yet. I've mixed it in once or twice.
Yeah, that's something that I was wondering too. Is I was trying to just kind of touch on or look at like the Ravens for like a pass team, middling in coverage gate of like 16th.
Yeah,
and then I need to get their like DVOA here.
The problem is that it's
the
Baker
problem
Mayfield
is it's
this week.
Baker. Yeah.
Well, come on. The problem in DJ Moore's entire career has been his quarterback. Definitely more prevalent this year. Definitely more prevalent this year. But I mean, if anyone's the player to shine with a quarterback that's garbage, it's DJ Moore. So
it is, but even Baker Mayfield can make the brightest stars look like absolute
100%. I don't disagree with you, but in terms of wanting to win some money, if DJ Moore's not being brought back, I'll definitely be willing to do it a little bit.
Yeah, I'm about that.
I just feel like it's forcing correlation there.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. I could see both there.
I don't have a ton of. Well, actually, I do have a decent amount of Dalvin Cook. He's very interesting this week, but we'll see if DeMoney 8888888 is gonna snag him.
I've seen DeMoney in these lobbies before.
Oh yeah.
So, just question: what's the difference between forcing DJ Moore and Michael Pittman or Paris Campbell?
The quarterback. Baker Mayfield. He sucks. I don't want to like bet on Baker Mayfield.
And Matt Ryan had one good week after being benched, and he's just back.
What do you guys like Alvin Kamara at all? I've yet to. I think I maybe drafted him.
I think this is a decent spot for him.
Yeah.
Okay.
The more I see,
I think the Rams are kind of in the shitter.
Yeah. The more
I kind of like this. We haven't drafted him yet. We haven't talked about him yet. I hyped him yesterday quite hard. He has a 29% target share with Taylor Heineke. And we know the dude can fucking ball, and we know they're playing the team that leads the NFL in missed tackles.
Yeah. Give me all of that.
Like, I'm about it. There is the outlying possibility that Carson Wentz comes back this week. I think Taylor Heineke's done enough to keep his job.
You kidding me, dude? 211, 0 touchdowns, 1 pick. Dude, they chained him up. He's ready to go. Game on their Monday Night Football.
Yeah, it has to be him. But there is a possibility that Riverboat Ron is like getting pressure from the up top, and he needs to throw in Wentz in there. But I doubt it. I doubt it.
To get in the mind of Ron Rivera, that would be hard.
You
don't know what he's gonna do.
The money is Mike. Here we go. There,
bro.
Putting word association. Yeah. I think he's told us that before, but I did not recall.
Yeah, it's hard to tell whenever the names aren't whenever they're not 1-to-1.
It's just YouTube. Like if we could just all sync our YouTube names, just put your Underdog names, I would appreciate it. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, exactly.
Parentheses.
I'm looking at you, Chad. No, I'm just kidding. Whenever I see Chad, I'm like, Lee, Chad, Lee.
Yeah.
Cool.
This is a nice start.
Yeah, I kind of like this team so far. Now I think monkey brain correlation would be like, let's get Pierce and Allen Robinson or something like that, or a DJ Moore run back. Like, I think that's where everybody's
Allen Robinson should be in strong consideration for everybody this week.
I think I would say that the biggest thing with him right now is the uncertainty at quarterback, and not as much so him.
That's true. But I guess my rebuttal would be like, it's just a concussion for Matt Stafford. So it's not necessarily a matter of like, can he like throw the ball? It's just like, can he pass the concussion protocol? So that is definitely an issue. But Kupp presents like the lack of Kupp is that's an insane amount of opportunity to go around.
This is a fun little finish here. What do you guys like? Give me a name.
I'll tell you. I think Allen Robinson. I think that against the Saints, like that is like this is a hell of a spot for him.
Okay. Yeah,
the numbers don't look great, obviously, but the Saints suck.
And what next? Do you like this? Do you think that's unique enough that then we get this little correlation off whatever, and then we tell everybody not to correlate and stack, and we fucking come out here and correlate and stack?
The only reason I like it is because he's just like a classic bounce back spot where he was very, very like highly drafted last week, let everybody down, and now he's in a spot where like he's now the last running back off of the board in most lobbies. Like he is literally the last running back in this lobby here.
One thing I want to say to that too is I do not think that Washington looked good against the ground last night. It was just the fact that it was the lowest amount of time of possession and plays run by the Eagles in 20 years last night in the first half.
And a lot of that was because of their offense, the Commanders' offense.
Yeah, it wasn't the defense on the other side. And then they come out in the second half, and what do? They just establish it, and Miles Sanders goes to work a little bit, and they march all the way down the field, and then it ended up being Devontae who scored the touchdown. But it kind of made sense to me that like, okay, yeah, this team isn't that good against the ground right now. I mean, Chase Young coming back could change that, but I do think there is a path to that mini correlation being 3 touchdowns between those two players.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm going to go ahead and throw in the private chat. It's a chart from Ben Baldwin, who I have my qualms with, but this is a really good graphic as far as like defensive metrics, looking at the percentage of times defensive series or an offensive series against that defense results in a touchdown or a first down versus a field goal, turnover, or punt. The Commanders are tied with third with the Jets and the Bucks and the Niners, or Bucks and Jets. I apologize. Of 60% of their opposing series ending in a touchdown or first down, which is like one of the lowest in the league here. Okay, you got it up here. Sorry. So yeah, they're formidable defense. They're definitely legit, but I agree. I think on the ground they can probably be had a little bit easier than in the air. And with the Texans team, we know they want to run the ball. So I think that the thesis of Pierce last week applies to this week as well, minus like the great matchup. But this is a Washington team that can be beat. We just saw them win in prime time against the Eagles. So that is definitely going to make people not want to play Dameon Pierce this week because they just saw them beat the Eagles in prime time and Pierce just let everybody down. I just think these are just like classic, data points to bet back on Pierce as a bounce back where everybody
I think that's pretty sharp. I think what we're going to end up seeing with Pierce, and we saw it in those last 4 drafts or whatever, granted, pretty sharp rooms, viewers of the show primarily, but we've seen his ADP naturally fall about 6 spots in each of those rooms, and he went undrafted one time. It wouldn't surprise me if we get Chad and Baseball's data over the next 2 days, and he is our highest faller, lowest faller, our highest faller, our lowest faller, whatever the terminology would be. Largest faller. Yeah, there you go. All right, gents, pushing 2 hours here. We push past that magic number. a long time ago. Mike asking the question about the likely Andrews debate. We're going to have that conversation multiple times this week. We are going to have that conversation again tomorrow. Numi bringing up some really nice points in terms of why you would draft likely just in general. I was bringing up why the swap equity is what I'm interested in. We're going to have that conversation a couple more times. But if you scroll back to about the, call it 40-minute, 50-minute mark, something like that, we had a kind of 5-minute debate on that one. We got just drafted a Fields, Cook, Patterson, Mooney. That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Mooney, Andrews from the 5. Yeah, I like that. I mean,
Nice
you're
team.
instantly unique by having Andrews and Fields on the same team and not correlated. So I really like that. That's a solid team. And then you get exposure to that game environment with CPAT on the run back. And Darnell Mooney is kind of a cool way to get different there. Yeah, no worries, Mike. Appreciate you being here nonetheless, my friend. Everybody, thank you so much for hanging out. We had damn near 50 viewers at one point there. Do us a favor, like, subscribe, play the algorithm game for us, drop a comment, drop some stars. I don't know. Can you even rate and review, some shit like that.
On Spotify. Go ahead and give us a rating on Spotify.
Leave it if you watch the stream, leave us a comment what you think, put your hot take, your favorite player, whatever you want in there. Just helps. We appreciate it. More people we get in here, the more conversation we'll have, the bigger we grow, so it just helps everyone. So let's get more people just aware that Battle Royale exists, because not many people really do. We think that in our little bubble, everyone knows it by now, but I mean, I got a bunch of friends that still are skeptics to get on. So yeah, we appreciate you, sheep. Yep, always. But yeah.
All right. Appreciate everybody being here, everybody hanging out. Any last words to add there, Nez?
I don't. Thanks for chatting with us. This is going to be a fun week once again, man. This is fun. You got to stay tuned to us. We're going to be talking about the big decision points, the big drama. So keep tuning in.
Yeah, it's a very good slate. Big energy today. Love being back with the lads. It's a fun show. Jam to win coming up later this week. Couple, irons in the fire for old John Boy. Maybe we got a couple little whatever. Pete Overzet. Not sure you ever heard of him. The Deposit King.
Who?
Yeah, you guys ever heard of him? Might be drafting some teams with us on Friday there. Good things happening. Join that Deposit Kingdom Discord, link in the bio. Help support the show. There's a merch link down there. Show it off one time for me, Nez.
Oh, this whole thing?
Yeah. That's a clean fit. That is a
ton of colors. Ton of colors too. If you're not like a black t-shirt guy, ton of good colors in there. Great quality t-shirts. If you don't have any of Pete's stuff, get a Pete shirt, get a Badge Bro stuff.
That's great.
Refresh all the shows. Yeah, just get all the shows. Yeah. Might as well just click. Holidays are coming up. Give your parents a little Badge Bro shirt. No idea what they are. Get them tuned in.
Get your parents a Badge Bro shirt.
Stocking stuffers, baby.
Little stocking stuff.
Maybe we'll have a little Cyber Monday or Black Friday sale there. Eh? Maybe we'll work something into it.
I mentioned the giveaway a while back, and maybe those had a little something to do with it. Maybe those had a little something to do with it.
So. Love to see it. All right. Appreciate y'all hanging out. We'll be hanging out in the Deposit Kingdom. Everybody, good luck tonight. Sorry we didn't talk any hoops. We'll get a little hoops in tomorrow. Maybe I'll reach out to Spags. Maybe Spags wants to talk a little hoops with us. Maybe
for
that's
a little Wokeness Day?
Yeah, why not, right? Wob Wednesday, why not? Let's go. Okay, everybody's favorite time of the show. Appreciate y'all. The end. Peace.